This is one of the hardest parts of all, in my opinion, is figuring out how you make your story just so the editor will want to say, yeah, that's interesting. I'm going to go with that. So here are the questions you need to answer. In brief, of course, there's a lot more to it than this, but these are some basic questions. I would take a picture of this. I would write this down every time you're writing a pitch. I would ask yourself these questions and make sure that you can answer them well. And those questions are, is it timely? Does it have a unique enough angle? What makes you a good person to write it? Is it particularly relevant to this specific publication's readership? And how can you sort of showcase that to the editor? You want them to feel special. And then also, can you clearly, in one sentence, explain your idea or what you're trying to say? If you cannot clearly explain your point in one sentence, then you are not quite sure what you want to say. And if you are not quite sure what you want to say, the editor is not going to be quite sure what you want to say. So do not send it until you can do that, okay? Great advice. So real quickly, we're going to talk about publications and how do you know if they're worth your time? Well, let's start with, do you like them? Do you like that publication? Okay, great. Good start. Next, does this publication cater to your target audience? Is this a good place for the things that you want to write? Just know that by reading it. Get a little bit familiar with it. Now, next question, do they pay? Now, payment is great. I prefer to be paid. There are some instances in which you might want to write for not being paid. The example I use is there's a magazine called McSweeney's. You may have heard of it, and they have a humor column. As far as I know, they don't pay for that column. However, if you get your writing into the McSweeney's humor column, it's going to be read by so many people, and it's going to do a lot more for your reputation, your visibility, potentially other opportunities. And so that would be a time where I would say, yeah, definitely 100% I will write for no pay. So that's an example of that. Other times it's like, what's the value there? Is there a larger payoff beyond the financial when it comes to reputation or visibility or advocacy or whatever it is you're writing? So those are all decisions that you can make by yourself. The other question is, are they reputable? You know, there are some magazines out there that are just, you know, it's like I used the example earlier, Hello Magazine. That's like celebrity gossip. It's full of lies. I probably don't want to write for them, right? So make sure the publication is a place that you would be proud to have your writing at. And then lastly, do they have a good reputation among other writers? So once you're inside the freelance world, you start to realize that writers talk to one another, and there are conversations about editors or specific publications that don't pay on time, or somebody says they waited 9 months to be paid, and there's a lot of warnings. Hey, you might not want to write for them. So make sure that you're checking in on that reputation.